Okay, so today we are going to be making the curtains or the drapes for your she shed. With that, you all have larger pieces of fabric that in your instructions, you have instructions that go with this too, will tell you to cut them in half, which will make 11. We'll make a 11 by 19 rectangle. We're gonna leave the edges raw. If you really get into stitching and you really want to finish those edges, you're more than welcome to. But for our purposes, we're just going to fold over and stitch over the top. And that's to create a pocket so we can put our rod through it. So the first thing we're gonna do, you need your needle and thread. Well, first you need your pin. So you should all have pins like this and on a piece of paper with your needle and thread. So first we're gonna prep our fabric for stitching. So first what we're gonna do is we are going to take our fabric and we're gonna fold it over. And what we wanna do is we wanna make sure it's 1.5 inches. One that just gives us a nice amount of space to put our pull through, and two, it makes it so it fits our box well. So you just want to go across and make sure that this is staying at 1.5 inches about. So that way you have one straight pocket. See, like right here, it's a little fold over a little too much. Okay, so once we feel like we have about 1.5 inches, what we're going to do is we're going to come through and we're going to pin our fabric down. And just keep an eye because fabric will move. So I'm going to pin right here. And then I'm actually going to come back and I'm going to just make sure this didn't move because it got shifted as I picked up my arm. And we're going to pin it here. And you really only need about 3 pins just to keep the fabric so it doesn't just like flap over while you're trying to stitch. So I'll get one more and then double check it so that we don't have anything. We don't want our drapes to be weirdly lopsided. Okay, I'm gonna do a third. If you are really wanting to make sure it's extra secure, what you can do is you can come back and then just pin these down a little bit more. So what I'm doing, what you need to do, if you've never pinned anything before, you come down and then you lift back up through the other side. So it should just lay flat like that. So now that I have it pinned, I'm gonna get my thread. So this is my thread that I'm gonna use just because it's not an exact match, but it matches the colors in my thing. So the thread we gave you is hopefully matched. We will match it. It will be somewhat matching the colors in your thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make this about twice as long as I think I'm gonna need, if not a little bit longer. If you've ever done any of our stitching projects at the Hive, we've walked you through this, or it's been in instructions, and again, it's probably it is in written instructions, so you can read through this as well as watch me. So we're going to thread our needle, and then what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pull this so it goes. So we have a double thread coming down off of our needle. It's going to make for a more secure stitch and just a better, it's how you should always stitch actually. So anytime you're doing any of our stitching projects, this is what we should be doing. Anytime you're doing mending or any kind of hand stitch, you want to double your thing. So then we're going to double knot the end. If you don't know how to knot, created a video for how to knot for kids because everybody should know how to knot. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start at the top here, but what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna start on the inside of my fabric to hide my knot from the outside. So I have this started right here, but what I'm gonna come back and do before I start is I'm actually going to, on the back side, this is the back side of your thing, I'm gonna draw a straight line with a pencil because that is going to help you keep your stitches straight. So here's the thing, the pole that we're using is about a quarter inch yeah, it's about a 1/4 inch round. So we really don't need that much space, as much as I've given myself here. But so about halfway down, about, we'll say 3/4 of an inch, or we can say an inch. We'll say an inch down. We're gonna mark this. And then I'm gonna actually draw a line that goes straight across. So we wanna make sure, try to get it as straight as we can. Because what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you a line to follow as you stitch. Because it's easy to go a little sideways when you're stitching. And this is on the back side, so you won't see this at all. So I have my stitch started, but as you can see, I started it way low, but that's okay because it's on the inside and you're not actually gonna see it on the front or on the back. I mean, you'll see it on the back, but no one will notice that. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna take where I started and I'm going to find my line and I'm gonna bring my thread up to that. So I've now pulled my thread through there. Okay, so now here's a trick I'm going to teach you. So usually when you're doing these, you're going up and down and up and down, and that's just a running stitch. So I'm gonna bring my needle back and I'm gonna make sure that it is on the same line that I drew. And here's a trick I'm gonna teach you on how to stitch and stitch quickly. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put our needle down, but we're not gonna pull it all the way through. We're actually going to take the needle and we're gonna bring it back up. And then we're gonna pull it through. And that actually saves us the step from having to go up and down and up and down. You can actually do that multiple times. You can go down like this, and you can come back up, and you can go down, and you can come back up, down, and up. And I'm following my line this whole time. So you can see I have multiple stitches going through here. And then what I do is I pull, and it creates all those 3 stitches in a row. So you're just gonna repeat this all the way to the very end, and then we'll just knot it off at the end. Now come to the end of my row, and I'm actually on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back through kind of really close by my other stitch. I'm not gonna worry about it too much on this side. Now this is a trick that I like to do for tying off. So what you do is you come underneath one of the stitches that you just did, and you're gonna actually, so while the loop is still there, you're gonna take your needle and you're gonna go like that. And that'll actually tie it really nicely off. And I like to do it just a couple times. And you can even double knot it if you want, just like that. And that'll hold it. And we'll cut that off. And then you can take your pins out. All set, and it's okay if it's a little ruched because it's going to end up getting pulled together anyway. So let's see how mine's a little ruched. It's because when I was tying my knot, I tightened it. Okay, and then what we're going to do I have my other one already attached here, or on my rod. So this one we're gonna add to the rod. So they're gonna be just like that. And then I'm gonna take my box that I have here, and we are going to, we'll just stick these poles right in. So we'll put one side in one ear, and the other in the other side. But here's the trick. If you can put tacky glue, or if your mom has some hot glue, I would recommend doing just a touch of glue in each hole right before you stick in the wood, because that'll help it hold. All right, and we'll be back with a picture.